There are places in the world where water slows down, spreads out, and covers the land in shallows. In these calm, undisturbed conditions, plants are allowed in many special ways to thrive. Their ecosystems are among the richest and most complex to be found anywhere. Welcome to the world of wetlands. Wetlands are the unsung heroes of our environment. They are not only breathtaking landscapes, but also vital to the health of our planet. But what exactly is a wetland, and why is it important to mankind? A wetland is an area of land that is saturated with water, either permanently or seasonally, and is typically characterized by specific types of vegetation adapted to water-saturated conditions. Wetlands play a crucial role in supporting biodiversity, regulating water flow, and providing various ecosystem services. One of Zimbabwe's most important wetlands is located in the northwest of Harare, and the Conservation Society of Monavale was constituted in 2005 with the aim of preventing the degradation of this important wetland.
Welcome to Monavale Vlei. So you have this open grassland wetland or vlei in a location that is key in Harare. You've got open grassland wetlands which create the river systems feeding away from the city. So Harare is on top of the watershed in the Upper Manyami catchment basin, and its open grassland wetlands arise here in these types of wetlands, these areas you can see here, and they create rivers, streams, which flow downstream and make the Marimba, the Mukwizi, the Gwibi, Umbunzi, and various other rivers. They arise here and they've always been left alone, these wetlands. The Monavale Vlei has been monitored by BirdLife members since the 1950s or before. And regular outings were held like once a year over the decades. And in the summer months to check to see whether the streaky-breasted flufftails and the striped crakes and other migrant species had arrived for the summer months to breed. And so they're intra-Africa and Palearctic migrants, and they come to these wetlands to breed. So the BirdLife bird watching community had been monitoring them forever. And when they became under threat from development in 2000, then people started to get alarmed. So at that stage we were alarmed because the habitat was being removed, not just in Monavale, but around the city being encroached, whereas these areas had been left alone as like avenues of open grasslands. And you need those big wide open spaces to create the streams and rivers. You can't narrow them to 30 feet beyond the stream. Okay, so what happened was they were under threat from development, and local residents, BirdLife members and other NGOs got together and they stood up against the development as a collective thing, together with Department of Natural Resources, City of Harare. And so at that stage we didn't have a community organisation here, but if we did, it didn't address the environment, so it was very small, loose arrangement. So this community then created the Monavale environmental action group, Monavale Vlei Environmental Action Group, and there we formed a platform for monitoring and engaging to make sure that the area was protected, together with the landowner of a portion of the area, and where the development was due to take place. And so that's 24 years ago. And then from there, it was agreed that BirdLife Zimbabwe would purchase the land, which that was settled. And then as a result of that, the agreement was that the local community could look after it and restore it. And then, so at that stage, then in 2005, the Monavale COSMO, the Conservation Society of Monavale, was formed, following the famous townhouse meeting with all stakeholders to decide what was going to happen to Monavale. It was agreed it would be protected as a model for the protection and the restoration of other wetlands in Harare.
Wetlands serve three main critical purposes which are important for the earth and its inhabitants. 1. Wetlands are home to a diverse range of species, providing a place for these species to breed and thrive, ensuring that we will always have such species among us for generations to come. In fact, did you know that when it gets very cold in certain parts of the world, some birds travel over thousands and thousands of kilometers to find a suiting breeding environment? The Monovale wetland provides such breeding grounds for many types of birds, frogs, and even for fish. 2. Wetlands help to clean our water through a natural process by absorbing surface water and slowing it down to trap dirt and debris, while the plants in the wetland have a special ability to take in and use some chemicals, absorbing some pollutants and harmful substances in the water. And 3. Wetlands are nature's giant sponge, which also helps to prevent flooding. Wetlands serve as natural flood buffers by absorbing, slowing down, and storing excess water. Their ability to manage water flow helps to protect downstream areas from flooding and reduces the risk of damage caused by sudden, high-volume water flows. So next time you hear of unusual flooding in your neighborhood, remember, it could be because of the destruction of a wetland that could have absorbed that water. Now, as part of their awareness initiatives, the Conservation Society of Monavale welcomes environmental and bird enthusiasts every third Sunday of the month for a captivating natural history walk. This monthly stroll aims to spot bird species and share insights about the wetland. Over the years, this initiative has breathed life into the vital message of wetland preservation, fostering a shared commitment among participants.
We want a yellow bishop. Or so there's a straight ahead. Funny, you straight ahead, right?
Yeah.
Funny, my glasses are green.
Globally, wetlands encounter numerous challenges, from urbanization and infrastructure growth to shifts in agriculture, deforestation, Invasive species and pollution, among many other pressures, pose threats to wetlands. Our intervention is vital for wetlands to persist in their crucial roles.
The environmental changes are human-made, not climate-made, no, human-made. So if the humans come and cultivate and they put houses on these wetlands, then they're not there to do their work. You just get runoff that goes down to the sea. What we've learned, which is a huge long story, of the value of the actual vegetation and the biodiversity sitting on these wetlands draws the water into the soils. So you've got over 200 species of plants that we've recorded with the universities and plant specialists to date. There are probably many more doing this work for water in this habitat. And then you remove the habitat and you put monoculture and you wonder why the wetlands aren't functioning properly and why the water just disappears off into the streams and away to the, they're not stored for the 7 months of drought. So that's a key message. The vegetation and the soils work together. And so if there's a drought, then the water's stored under the ground and released slowly through the year. If there's a flooding, the water is held by the wetlands and stored as well and managed free of charge. And it's the vegetation here, we're standing in all these different types of grasses with this flowering laperosia that shows you that this is indicator of a wetland. And you take that away, you've got problems.
If you come very close, it's got 1, 2, 3, 8. So it was named after 3 brothers known as Komolina. So these 3 brothers, the other one was a little bit handicapped, so it's not well developed. This other flower, that's why it was named after that. So these flowers, you find them around on these flays, quite beautiful, and they flower around this time of the year. Beautiful year. My name is Jimmy Muropa. I'm the Conservation Officer for Monavale Vlei and Cosmo, Conservation Society of Monavale, Environment Education Officer for BirdLife Zimbabwe as well. Here on Monavale Vlei, we do engage with residents and the public in general, school kids as well as tertiary institutions that we engage here. So we do talk about and educate people about the role that wetlands play, their functions, their roles and importance in the greater ecosystem and the environment. We also have what we call the Cosmo Kids Club, whereby every Saturday in the morning we engage the local kids, teach them about the environment, anything to do with the environment, be birds, grasses, wetlands, trees, recycling, anything to do with the environment. We teach them so that when they grow, they know in our way of their environment and how important it is for day-to-day living. The morning, they will come up from the streams using the Bible highway, then they spawn. On that very day, they will go back. So if you come tomorrow, you won't find even one. So this, in December, twice I saw them when the conditions were right, when it was raining. They came up, hundreds of them. I've got photographs of them, and they came up here, spawn, they go back.
The City of Harare dredged the river system from being its natural stream. And then on the edges you got these bunds or raised areas from the soil in the river onto the edges. So with that alteration of the river system, you change the vegetation response. And so you've got these Phragmites reeds here that weren't occurring there before the dredging happened, and they are very invasive. They're not indigenous plants. They need to come out. They're very invasive. They've changed the habitat on the river system, and the river can be restored. So then you have various invasive tree species that have come in. You've got up here the Bohenia, which is planted in the streets, which is spreading around the city in the streets in an invasive manner everywhere. And then there's the poplar, is another plant I see that's growing further upstream there that is very difficult to get out. That's coming in, that doesn't belong, and it wrecks the river systems. Then we've got further around you'll see the ash, and back here we have an American ash. They are planted in people's gardens, and they're planted in the streets, and they produce tons and tons of seeds. And these seeds float off with the rain down into the rivers and choke up the rivers, altering the rivers. They need to be removed. And so we know which ones need to come out. Work parties can be instructed how to take them out, and we can restore these areas for the better functioning of the river streams and the river systems and the wetlands. So restoration is possible and should be high on the list of management of these areas.
Did you know that World Wetlands Day is celebrated every year on the 2nd of February? This day marks the date of the adoption of the Convention on Wetlands on the 2nd of February 1971 in the Iranian city of Ramsar. The theme for 2024 is Wetlands and Human Well-Being.
My name is Moses Tapwana Shekanyepi. Some call me the Junior Frescar of Monavale Vlei, or some call me the Ego of Monavale Vlei.
Engaging young people in wetland preservation is an investment in the future, as they hold the potential to drive positive change, contribute fresh ideas, and ensure the sustained health of these vital ecosystems.
Bird Life. I joined Bird Life some few years later. It was Conservation Woodland. Then when I started doing birds, it was for fun. I normally used to see them. We used to have a garden, small garden. Birds would just come, take a little bath, take a little shower. Beautiful colors, they were just interesting to watch. 2 February is World Wetlands Day, where we commemorate the World Wetlands. In Zimbabwe, we have 7 Ramsar sites. That includes number 1, Monavale. Then there's Cleveland, Bloemfontein, another one, Manapus, and the other likes. So it is good for us to keep on maintaining these wetlands because number 1, Monavale Vlei plays a huge part of our water system. Most of the water from Lake Chivero, it's fed from Monavale. Monavale cleans, but it only purifies, it doesn't clean. But once it cleans the water, it will be actually clear, but not safe to drink. So the other impurities Lake Chivero cannot clean, it will be cleaned by Monavale. So let's say we build houses on Monavale. Number 1, we've disrupted the ecosystem, the biodiversity. Monavale Vlei will find a huge species like the jackal, we find jackals, the giant bullfrogs, we find the bush pigs, the bush pigs also. So we used to find the tigers, but the line has been really long. And also we used to find the serval, the one which looks like a cheetah. So you disrupt the ecosystem, you have disrupted a lot of things. Monavale Vlei, kids love to come here and play because of the water. You know, kids and water, they are always one and the same. When I was young, every day on a Saturday, we used to conduct Cosmo Kids Club, a small kids club that people around Monavale or some part of Harare, they come Saturday, we learn a few species of birds, animals. Then after that, we have a little snakes, and then we come into the play to play. Water, pools, we can go swim because we know it's clean. We can naturally swim, but then it's just not clear to drink. It's not safe to drink. So we will know Saturday, a lot of kids converge right here at Monavale Vlei. We do our little bird species, we learn a little bit of birds, different species, different birds, then we go. Importance of knowing Monavale. People of Monavale cannot be without Monavale Vlei. It's one in the same. The people, the ecosystem, they actually put posters of no dumping because they try to keep Monavale safe. So if you dump wastes, you have disrupted the ecosystem. You actually make it harder in the long run. You find the water now, if you dump waste on Monavale, the water is no longer safe to drink. When it goes to Lake Chiwero, now the impurities used to clean water at Lake Chiwero, they will be a little bit more expensive. So in the long run, it will be expensive. So you'll find the treatment cost budget-wise, they'll be expensive. That's why we normally get dirty water from Lake Chiwero almost here and there.
I think wetland issues should form part of the school curricula because we use water every day, yet people, we take it for granted. So we need to educate young people where they get their water from, their drinking water from. We have a situation at the moment in Harare, like cholera. So we need to teach them about the importance of clean water. So wetlands do play a very pivotal role in the purification of water. So we need to educate the kids about the importance of wetlands and the ecosystem that supports it, how important it is because it relates to them every day. So as they say, catch them young. So as they grow, they are very much aware where their water comes from, what they need to do about the environment so that we benefit from it.
This area became a Ramsar site in 2013. And so the Ramsar site is not just this core area that we've been looking after as a community. It's 510 hectares. It goes upstream that way, east, west, south, north. It goes up on the river systems. And those areas need to be restored. But being a Ramsar site and keeping it a Ramsar site is absolutely essential because you can't just cancel Ramsar sites, and there's a whole pile of legislation or whatever you call it that goes with that. So from that point of view, it's pretty secure, but it can't stand alone. You don't save a little tiny piece of land and hope the rest of Harare's water is going to be provided. All of them need to be retrieved and restored so that they can be working for water, because we don't have any options for water. You know, we don't. So I think it's such a big story, and there are many. We have to have more communications. So yes, I think it will survive into the future. It's a very huge education. There's been much awareness arising out of this work that's happened here on this wetland. Some people plead that they don't know about wetlands, but there's huge awareness out there now. You see it every day in the press, everywhere. And with the flooding downstream, if you have your wetlands intact upstream, they hold the water. So there's more flooding if you don't have them.
Yeah, over the last century, we've lost over 50% of our wetlands. So at this current rate, it's not even sustainable. So without wetlands, there's no water. So we should protect and conserve wetlands so that we have water.
Now, as we celebrate World Wetlands Day on February the 2nd, let's remember, wetlands are not just nature's treasures. They are our lifelines. From cleansing waters to nurturing biodiversity, their role is irreplaceable. Embrace the call of World Wetlands Day and be the guardians of these sanctuaries. Together, let's pledge to protect, preserve, and ensure the heartbeat of our wetlands resonates for generations to come. Happy World Wetlands Day. where our commitment creates ripples of change across the waters of conservation. Now, until the next episode, enjoy the rest of your viewing and goodbye.